But you also mentioned the fourth transformation. Do you want to just kind of define that for us or put
Please.
it in context for us?
So we just mentioned earlier, how we've sort of graduated as consumers. We've evolved. We started with DOS and mainframes, where text was our user
So what
interface.
was that, the first
That was the first,
transformation?
starting around 1970 when the mainframes came out,
Okay.
and then we moved into graphical user interfaces, which
Mm-hmm.
brought computing to the masses.
Mm-hmm.
That allowed you and I to be able to compute, do personal computing
So
in a
that's
fairly easy way.
Mac and Windows, right?
Mac and Windows, correct.
And the third?
And now we're in our third, the mobile era,
Oh, okay.
which we're somewhat coming out of. We're
Yeah.
seeing hardware providers like Apple and Samsung no longer being able to sell us that next phone. We're still lining up for them,
Right.
but not in the droves that we used to.
Yeah.
So all of these companies, and why I'm so convinced that
Mhm.
we are going to spatial computing, is because I'm doing all this research and seeing
Mhm.
what all these major players are doing.
Mhm.
DigiCap suggests that the fourth transformation is holographic computing. We've got Robert Scoble and Chess Israel, who wrote a very impactful book, The Fourth Transformation. In fact, I recommend everybody read that book. It is an excellent insight to what are some of the good and bad
Mhm.
of moving into this spatial computing.
Mm.
So when we get to that fourth transformation, which according to Robert Scoble and Chess Israel will be by 2025, I think it might be a little bit longer than that before we, perhaps have the sexy enough glasses or whatever hardware that we're using that we decide to do that, where we go from carrying our devices to wearing our devices. But once we're there and we come into hyper reality that we saw such in this video, there's a lot of things that, as I suggested, the government or Big Brother are going to be able to ascertain by us just participating in augmented reality.